what can my product knowledge, what can my soil knowledge do with this grass? And now today, holy cow, my grass is lush. Like you would want to just like go out there and roll around in my grass. But it's
Well, we got to set that up sometime,
Yeah.
dude, okay? Come on, it can be like a little clip on my Only Lawns, okay?
yeah.
Yeah. All right. It's AJ with Hippie Fertilizing. We are back on the More Than Grass podcast again with Justin Grippon from Grippon Gardens.
Man, I'm so excited to be back again. I have so much fun with these podcasts.
Dude.
What are we talking about today?
Well, you've told me a little bit about your lawn, okay?
Woo.
I want to...
Man, my lawn.
So you got a new home over, I want to say, Texas City area?
Yeah, so it's one of the new developments down Texas City. And, man, my yard was bad.
Yeah?
So bad when we got it from the developer. I mean, the front yard came with grass from the developer. Nothing I could do about it. The city required it.
And it was St. Augustine, right?
St. Augustine.
Okay.
The backyard was a clean slate. I was so excited. I got to do whatever I wanted to do back there, do it how I wanted to do it. And let me tell you, did I do some fun stuff back there?
So, okay, hold on. Before we dive into that, because I want to know all about it for sure. With this front lawn, I want you to show me a picture of you showed me recently yours and the neighbors.
Yes.
And it was an incredible difference.
So that picture, which we'll have up here.
And when did like, what time of year did these projects start? When did you get into the house? Was it summer, spring, fall?
We got into the house late summer. And
Hot as hell.
yeah. And then the picture that we've got up here, that was taken the first summer following the year, when we got in there, right? So we went through a winter, went through a spring, and that photo is the first summer.
So it was like basically like first full year almost of you being there and feeding it
with the microlife.
Conway.
Yeah. And there was one area that took some fighting with, because I think that it had gotten, when the house was being built, must have had a lot of people running over this one spot with their vehicles, and it was super compacted. And I never went through and like tilled the soil in the front yard. I left the grass as it was and purely put down products on top of it to see what I could do.
Okay.
And
I like it. I dig it.
And so I just was like, what can my product knowledge, what can my soil knowledge do with this grass? And now today, holy cow, my grass is lush. Like you would want to just like go out there and roll around in my grass. But
we got to set that up sometime,
Yeah.
dude, okay? Come on, it can be like a little clip on my Only Lawns, okay?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, taking all this knowledge on how to care for grass. It's not just what you put on the grass. It's how you manage cutting the grass too. Like that's a big part of it.
How high you mow? Typically after 2 joints. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, for our warm season, for example, which is, let's be honest, predominantly our year is dominated by warm season care practices, right? Our cool season here is tiny by comparison to a 12-month year. Most of those months are warm season. And so cutting your grass at the right height for the right temperature of the year is really important. So like when we get into our cooler season, once my grass has gone dormant, I cut it pretty low. But then as I progress into the springtime, getting into the summer, I get that grass all the way up to a 7-inch cut.
No way,
dude. And it's
that's
like
high grass,
it's like
dude.
a carpet out there, man.
Yeah.
7-inch carpet. And
what are you mowing with to get 7 inches?
Maybe it's 6 inches. Whatever. I think it's 6. Maybe it is 6.
I think the highest I've ever seen on a mower is like an Exmark 21-inch.
Yeah. So mine is, it's an Ego mower. I do all electric.
Okay.
For the front yard, but I mow it myself once a week in the summertime. And, I think it is actually a 6-inch cut.
Okay.
But even at 6 inches, like
That's high.
She's thick.
Yeah.
Okay.
She did.
She's thick.
I like it in the South.
Yeah.
You got some corn feeding that thing?
Oh,
Actually, I know you do.
Yeah.
Technically, there's cornmeal in the products that you're using.
so the products is I use the Microlife religiously, and that's all that gets on there is Microlife 624, the Microgrow, Humates Plus.
Do you ever use the hybrid?
I did. I used the hybrid this summer, and my results in the hybrid were okay.
Surprising.
Well,
I'm just surprised. It's my favorite product.
I like the hybrid too. And I think that this year was actually maybe not the best year to get to experiment with it, because we have had more cloudy days this year than we normally would have. It has been a very cloudy year. We've had a lack of sunlight.
Another thing that we've had that may impact this, and it's something that most people wouldn't think about, is Microlife Hybrid is a 2005 with urea methylene, but like I want to say 30% of the nitrogen source is kind of quick release.
Yeah.
And then the rest is a really solid slow release. We've had a lot of thunderstorms.
A lot.
Okay, so having put down that load of nitrogen in that form with the storms can really have like a slightly backwards effect.
Yeah, and I don't want you guys listen to this. I'm not trying to dog on the hybrid. Like we're looking at a yard that is already thriving, right? I'm trying to look at my yard and see how did the hybrid compare to my already robust system of Microlife and a already thriving yard. Like we're talking about a really good thing to another really good thing and trying to evaluate between two really good things.
And when you already have it really nice, and I run into this problem like with customers and with people sometimes, like what are we looking for, man?
Yeah.
It's only going to get so green.
It can only get so green.
It's only going to get so healthy.
Yeah.
Right. Because sometimes I think we're misled by like other marketing that we see.
Yeah.
We see this golf course looking lawn, or, the green marketing, like I want my grass like that. And it's like, well, for one, you have St. Augustine, you're never going to have grass like half this marketing.
Yeah.
Two is Bermuda gets a different green, different varieties of St. Augustine get a different green.
Yeah.
So there's many different variables.
Yeah.
So yes, when you're trying to take it up a notch when it's already so freaking high,
yeah,
it's almost impossible.
It is. Now, if you're using the hybrid on a developing yard where you're building, you can holy crap, it's amazing.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah, and the results are like night and day.
Yeah,
and
I put some on a zoysia lawn.
Yeah,
dude. He flipped out.
Yeah.
He was like, but then we talked again. And he said he went down and bought a 20-pound bag.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a really big lawn, and that 20-pounder wasn't sufficient for his square footage.
Yeah.
Right. He and I kind of go back and forth on how much square feet he has. He thinks he has less. I know for a fact he has more.
Right.
Right. And so he's like, well, it didn't do the same thing as when you put it down. I put it down. I had put down like 2 pounds on a couple hundred square feet.
Yeah.
Right. It was kind of a high ratio for the space. So yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But on a newer lawn or an ugly lawn or what have you, you're going to see friggin' results quick with hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was hard to see the difference there, but again, already a robust lawn,
very robust lawn, right?
But it's the same thing we talk about. New build, basically started out with crap.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I think that when it comes to new builds, on top of, using good products, creating a healthy soil environment with good organic products, one of the really important things especially in new builds, is getting your grass cut the highest level you can possibly manage during our warm season, because the taller your grass, the more water is going to be withheld in the soil for the summer months, the deeper your roots are going to be. And when it comes down to what's going to make your grass quickly go from a new development grass to a robust, thriving little micro ecosystem, having thick grass helps that process speed up unbelievably fast, because you've got so much more root development, so much more availability for microorganisms to get in there, hang out where those roots are at, get down deeper in that soil, and to build soil.
Right. So as I do like to say, and this is particular with St. Augustine, grass is like a hippie. It likes to be high.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
So what I want to know also a little more about, and what kind of excites me even further, is you had a clean slate for your backyard.
Yeah. So the backyard was, so think about when they build these homes, they're bringing in outside fill material. Nobody's house is built.
Select fill dirt.
Yeah,
it's
select
crap.
fill dirt. It's garbage. And, it's typically a heavy clay material. This stuff is good to build a house upon, but it's not good for grass.
No.
And so what I did was I brought in, I think it was 5 or 6 pallets of compost.
So just so y'all know, 5 or 6 pallets, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 2.3 cubic yards per pallet. So let's just say you did 5, you brought in roughly 10, 11, almost 12 yards.
Yeah.
Excuse me. 12 cubic yards of material, people. That's a full on dump truck load.
Yeah. It was a ton of material, and we laid it all out by hand.
Actually, technically it was about 6 tons.
Yeah.
Who's counting?
6 tons. But it was cool. So the process was fun. So we'll have a picture up here for you guys to look at on this process. But basically what we did is we turned the entire yard into a grid. So think like Tron style grid. And we laid out bags of compost at a specific interval, like just a complete grid out there. And the picture will show you guys here. But it was so much fun, because I was like, how am I going to get this yard equally distributed with so much material? So the grid was the way to go. We broke open all the bags, got a cultivator, a gas cultivator, or maybe it was an electric cultivator. I don't remember what I used, but we used a cultivator to then till that in as deep as possible. And I'm telling you that.
So you say cultivator, just for clarity for me and maybe other people who are curious, cultivator and a tiller are the same thing, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it's a machine with blades on it that agitate the soil, turn it all up and over itself.
Right. I just know, for my ignorance, right, I don't always hear the term cultivator. I typically hear the term tiller.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same exact thing, guys.
Okay.
So we got in there, tilled all that in. So we went from basically a dusty, sandy clay soil that was out there, dirt,
from dirt
to black gold
to soil.
And I'm telling you,
with aggregates.
To this day, my backyard is so easy to care for, and it's spongy. Like
it's soft.
You can walk out there and the yard gives when you step on it, and it squishes, and it's alive. Like you go out and it's so easy to care for.
I want to make a joke, kind of. It's like self-leveling.
Yeah.
Right. You go to walk on it. It presses in.
Yep.
Whoop, comes back.
Yeah.
Right. Which I hear about, like, theoretically or anecdotally in books and videos and stuff, that it has that capacity.
Yeah.
Right. But you built it and you're experiencing it.
Yeah. And one of the cool things about my yard is my yard can absorb an unbelievable amount of water before it starts to run off.
But let's get to another important part. It probably doesn't need nearly as much water to thrive.
No, it doesn't.
right? Because you're able to retain so much moisture in an effective way.
Yeah.
Which is a huge difference. There's a difference between having, let's say, like a pool, right?
Yeah.
Versus having a breathable sponge. And I say breathable because that sponge that sits next to your sink can get real stinky.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's breathable, it wouldn't be stinky because it's not producing like bad bacteria and fungi. It's helping the good fungi and bacteria thrive.
Yeah.
Which means your root zones in there have to be amazing. Gosh, hey, if you would, for me and for just like demonstration purposes, dig out a little square.
See what it looks like.
Yeah, so we can see and see how
you've got the soil probe still, right?
Huh?
Do you still have a soil probe?
Yeah, I have a soil probe, and I have this big. It's basically like a bigger soil probe.
Yeah.
That takes out Coke can sizes.
Yeah, let's go take a probe out and let's see what we're working with down there.
I think we should.
I've never probed it, and
I think we should do it with both. Right, the small actual soil probe.
Yeah,
and then the big Coke can one to see what it looks like on a bigger chunk.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Now, in the backyard, also, I didn't use St. Augustine.
Right. What did you use?
So I used a type of grass called Tiff Tough Bermuda, which was a special order item in from our farm. But, dude, having Bermuda grass is a love-hate relationship.
Okay.
Because when it is cared for properly, it is unbelievably beautiful.
Immaculate, right?
Like a golf course.
Yeah.
But you ever noticed what golf courses are doing all the time?
Spraying for weeds.
No.
What?
They're mowing like 24/7 mowing.
Oh, that's okay. True. Yes.
Always mowing.
And you said you use an electric mower.
Yeah. So
if I'm not mistaken, electric mowers do have slightly different blades.
They do. So when I first started out with this grass, I was mowing it by hand every like 3 days to be able to maintain that golf course look. Because when you're talking about Bermuda grass, especially this variety of Bermuda mash called Tiff Tough, it has been bred as a golf course type grass, right? It's meant to be cut very short and very often.
Right. Yeah. If you build up your soil right, you can cut it down to like 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh yeah. And but the kicker with this grass is also all that beauty comes at a consequence, and that is you've got to be Johnny on the spot with mowing it. If you miss a mowing, Bermuda grass is not forgiving in the same way that St. Augustine does. Bermuda grass carries its green only at the top fringes of the blade.
So it'll all look brown, right?
Yeah. So if you cut off too much, it'll look brown. It'll look dead. It's not dead. It just looks like it.
But it recovers quickly, right? It does.
It's very good at recovery, and it loves sun. Bermuda grass is like probably the most sun-loving grass I can think of.
Definitely.
But it also doesn't like shade
at all.
You cannot grow.
It's not forgiving with shade.
No, it's not forgiving with shade.
Bit.
But if you've got a full sun area and you want golf course, Bermuda grass is definitely the grass of choice down here.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't mow it anymore.
No.
I have a robot now that does it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I think you told me about that.
Oh man. Honestly, best investment I ever made. Like there has been some learning curves on it, and technologies it's getting better.
Mm-hmm. But with that being said, okay, you said that was the best investment you ever made. I already know he's missing the other best investment he ever made.
Oh,
he's missing the best investment being all that compost he put down to build the foundation of his lawn.
Let me refresh that statement then. I would say is the best investment for my time to be saved.
Okay. Because it goes like this, right? And I want people to understand how this all came together. That robot mower only works because you built the lawn the way that you did.
Built from the bottom up, right? Building that layered cake.
Yes. If you didn't take the time with the lawn, build up the soil properly, you picked out the grass that you wanted, That robot mower wouldn't be working so good for you.
No, it certainly would not.
Not at all, actually. I don't think those things work very good on St. Augustine.
Yeah, because that's one of the big care practice differences between St. Augustine and Bermuda. And it's actually one of the things that people have come to me and they're talking about how they've got like Bermuda in their St. Augustine or vice versa. Like understanding how those two grasses like to be cared for can be a tool to help mitigate one or the other.
Oh,
Bermuda
huge.
grass loves to be cut often and short. St. Augustine grass does not like that. It does not like to be cut super short. And cutting it every day is probably not something it likes either. It likes to be able to grow out a little bit before you cut it.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Don't let it go for 2 or 3 weeks.
No. Not that long. Yeah, for sure.
I see it all the time, man.
Yeah.
I go to fix people's lawns, right? No, and I even had to learn this myself. I used to tell them, like, let it go for a while.
Yeah.
No, mow that sucker at a minimum of like once every 2 weeks for St. Augustine.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what.
Don't go beyond 2 weeks.
Year long.
Yeah.
Mow it once every 2 weeks. Now, because I would get the question of, okay, we just top dressed the lawn. We did our lawn restoration type service. Well, how soon can I mow it? I used to tell them, wait a few weeks. Right now, I'll say, mow it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just don't mow it too low. Like whatever little tiny clip that you need to take off to bring it down, do it.
So speaking of mowing, one of the things that I've incorporated into my practice of when I fertilize is I will fertilize my yard and then immediately mow it.
Okay. So things that I can see, tell me if I'm right or, different is, and I'm thinking predominantly for the St. Augustine side too, is that you put down a product like a 624.
Right.
Then you give it a good mowing. You get all the moisture from the fresh grass that helps break down that 624 product.
Yep.
Right. And then helps almost speed up to some degree the process that product is getting released into the lawn and the soil.
And then, so you've got that factor, and then you've also got the physical agitation occurring of the mower blades going over the grass. When you put down the 624 product, or most all of the Microlife products, they come in these little like granular kind of like little tubular bits.
It's like rabbit food pellets.
Yeah, like rabbit food pellets. And so when you run a mower across it after you've applied it, you've got the potential of it getting potentially chopped up into a smaller size. And then 2, at a minimum, the agitation of the mowing process is going to sort of shake it down. So it's not laying on the grass, but it's laying on the soil. And so that'll help for the moisture of the soil coming from the grass or a watering right afterwards to speed up the breakdown process like you're talking about.
Yeah, because that's something that I didn't understand when I first started using those products. That's why I like Humates Plus the best, because it's so fine.
Very fine.
It's getting down in the soil no matter what you do, right? And it's penetrating into everything, guaranteed. However, 624 is not.
No.
Right. And it takes a significant amount of water initially to break it down and get it. Now, once you water it properly, it's a fantastic product. But it took me a long time to pay attention enough to realize, hey, Mr. Johnson, when I put down this product, I need you to water heavily a minimum of 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
For it to be most effective and work the fastest. Because you already got your lawn immaculate, but most of the time we're out here fixing lawns and feeding stuff. Yeah. We also want to see stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the better you water it in initially, the better it's going to work.
And that's most of what we deal with, right? Like, I don't want to sound like my yard's like this just holy grail of yards. Like it's a love project, like it's a passion project for me.
But also it's a consistent thing.
Yeah.
Right. From what it sounds like, you mow your front yard once a week. You have a robot do it for you once every few days in the back, right?
Yeah.
It is such a disciplined, consistent thing. And I know many people that I've worked for, myself included, because I'll get lazy on my lawn. We ain't showing pictures of my lawn unless you just want to see a constant what's AJ screwing up this month to see how something works.
Like you're like it's all the things I've heard about your yard. Like I would put your yard in like this little bubble of this is AJ's little pet project for experimenting.
Oh, always.
Like whenever you want to know, like, has AJ tried this thing or is he just crazy? No, he tried it and he tried it on his yard probably.
Yeah. And I'm a little crazy. Okay. One flew over the cuckoo's nest over here. So I did try it on my lawn first with it was core aeration. I didn't have all the tines in.
Yeah.
And then I went back over it when I got the solid tines in. And right now I have some pieces even of palmetto plugs in one area of my lawn. They haven't grown out yet.
Okay.
But they're still doing really well over where I put them, which is a massive amount of shade. And then I put the Citra Blue. Like I had so much weeds in my front yard, and then I just scalped it and said, screw it. And I scraped half of that crap off with a rake. And then I put my 2 little patches of Citra Blue in, and I put sand around it. Cause something that I also kind of ticked a thought in how I want to start approaching lawns is every time I pulled these plugs out, it was mason sand in there.
Interesting.
So I'm like, well, if these guys at the sod farm are putting mason sand in here, what should I be doing? You know?
Yeah.
Because again, as we've talked about before, like adding aggregates to the soil. If y'all are in freaking Houston area, Gulf Coast, what have you, you got clay.
Yep.
Let's add some stuff to the clay. Right?
Yeah. We need sand and we need organic material.
Correct. Yeah. So where can we find you at, Justin?
So you guys can find us here in League City at 2060 Pecan Orchard Road. It's where Grippon Gardens is located. We have 5 acres, thousands of plants, a robust line of organic products, and more than just organic products too, and more than just garden products. We've got a single source organic coffee line. We've got organic soaps. We've got organic weed killers. Like we've taken an approach and like looking at things like what is something that people have a desire for, and can I get that product organically?
And can you get it locally?
Can I get it locally?
Boom, go to Grippon's.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Give us a like, give us a share, show that you care on the More Than Grass podcast. Peace.
Hey everybody, it's AJ with Hippie Fertilizing. We are here to help fix your lawn. Does it currently look brown, dead, dry, patchy? We'll call it Hippie. We can help turn it around. And one of the best ways to do that is with our Hippie Juice Plus application to revitalize your soil, your turf, and help give you a lush green lawn you're looking for. Please fill out our contact form at hippiefertilizing.com because nobody knows grass like a hippie. Peace.